Water won't flow underlying rock. Without work you won't catch a fish from a pond. You get the slippers if you wake up first. You know what grinds everything? Patience and work. If you like riding, pull the sleigh. Complete your task and walk all day. Не знаешь английский? Man, no way. Запишись на марафон and study every day.
Hey guys, welcome to English with LinguaTrip, and today we're gonna learn some vocabulary that has to do with a home office. Let's do it. I know the situation is very interesting right now, and a lot of you are forced to work from home, and that's exactly how you say it. Work from home. Or you can say work remotely, which means you had a place of work, but now because of COVID-19, you have to work from your house, work remotely. Or maybe you've always done that. To work remotely means to work for some company or someone, but you do it from your house. But if you've always worked from home and you don't really work for anyone, you can also say, I'm self-employed. Let's learn some words first, and then I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about how you can talk to people about your job, where you work, and how you work, and all that. So now let's learn. And of course, my home office is a very unusual one, but there are some things that all offices have in common. For example, like a desk. My office has a desk, and I know many other offices also have a desk. So I have a desk, I have a computer. Well, this is my computer, right? And I have a monitor or a second monitor, but this is my desktop computer. A lot of people also work with laptop computers, and that's fine, right? So, but that's your difference. Desktop is not very portable. It could be if you want it to be, but it's not going to be very convenient. Where a laptop, you can carry it with you anywhere. Of course, with a computer and computer monitor comes a keyboard. This is a keyboard, and I have some Russian on here, as well as English. This is called a trackpad, and of course, a mouse. Now, some desks might not have it, but I also have a keyboard tray, and I just have a different type of keyboard on it, but this is called a keyboard tray. And of course, some drawers to keep your important work stuff in them. Also, I have a TV in my office, and as I said before, my office is a very unusual one, and I do have a lot of decorations here. I have a sword hanging on the wall. I have many different types of decorations here on these little wall shelves, and I honestly wouldn't even know what to call this piece of furniture. It would be a rack? It would be a rack. Or a shelf unit? That's a good question. That's a really good question. Clearly I don't know what it's called, but I also have some decorations on here, some headphones or a headset because it has a microphone on it. And of course, this is an essential, and a lot of offices will have it, a printer, and some people might even have a fax machine. I have a couch in my office, my home office. Don't look at these. These won't really help you unless you work in music, but these are, I would call them soundproof panels for recording music. I have a microphone here because this is kind of like a recording studio here where I make music and videos and all of that, all of the creative content that I make. So I have a microphone here on a microphone stand, and I have speakers, but in the music industry world, these specific speakers are called studio monitors. It's very confusing because this is a monitor, and this is a monitor too, but that's exactly what it is, again, in the music industry world. But in a normal home office, it would be speakers, and I have a second desk here. This is my wife's desk, and she has a monitor right here. Her desktop computer down here, which is very ironic because it's called a desktop computer, but it's on the floor. But many people would just call it a PC, a personal computer, any computer that comes like that and it's not a Mac, people would often just call PC. And of course, we have speakers here. These are just speakers. And here we have two chairs. You can call them office chairs. More specifically, you can call them swivel chairs. It's because they swivel. This is the motion. and I always swivel in my chair. Now, this is not very home office specific, but it is a home office, so home is a big part of it. But I have a light fixture here with a ceiling fan. I can just turn it on and it'll go. Ceiling fan. I also do have a window in my home office. You just can't see it right now, but it's dark. There's nothing to see. And I just sit in my chair and I plan my videos, I shoot my videos, I edit my videos here, I create all the courses here and make all of my music here. Everything I do, I literally do right here. And another thing I forgot to mention, I just literally saw it on my computer monitor, and it's very important for your home office or just a regular office. This is called a sticky note, or you can also call it post-it notes, or a post-it note, to write any reminders on it, or anything like that. So now that our little tour is done, let's talk about certain words and expressions that you can use to talk about your work. We already figured out working from home and working remotely is the same, and that's what you can say when people ask you how you work. But people like to ask a certain question a lot, and it's, what do you do? Or even fuller, what do you do for a living? And that means, what is your job? What is your profession? And the typical response would be, I am or an, depending on what your job is, and then your job. For example, I am an accountant. And of course you can answer with what company you work for. And this is a very important one. So I work. 4 important prepositions. And the first one is for. So if you say I work for, after that you can use the name of the company or a specific person you work for. For example, if you work for a celebrity and you're an assistant, let's say Tom Cruise, you can say I work for Tom Cruise, right? But you can also use a company name. I work for Apple. Now, if you say I work at, then it would make more sense for you to use or to talk about the actual location or building you work at. And for that, you can use the company name, but it's gonna be different. Okay, let me stop confusing you and give you an example. If you say, I work at McDonald's, I am probably going to think that you actually work in the building. Maybe you're the cashier, maybe you're in the kitchen doing something, but you work in that building. I work at McDonald's. But if you use for and say, I work for McDonald's, it's gonna sound like you're in the office, or you're a part of the corporate team, so you don't necessarily work in a location like a restaurant, but you work somewhere up there. You work for the company. So if you say I work in, you can use that to talk about a place, like I work in a school, or you can talk about your city. I work in Paris. Also, you can talk about a field, like a professional field. I work in finance, or a department that you work in. I work in human resources, or I work in HR. And the last one, if you say I work with, after that you might want to talk about things or people. Like I work with computers. I work with children. So now that we figured that out, you can also mention if you work full-time or part-time. Full-time means usually 40 hours a week. It's different everywhere, of course, and each country has, their own things, but full-time is like an actual, employee. You're there. And part-time, you work, half of that or more or less, but you're not full-time. So usually here in America, if you're a full-time worker, you get benefits, which is, health insurance and stuff like that, dental, vision, whatever. Part-time workers usually do not get that. Another important word for you to know is commute. So a commute is however long it takes you to get from home to work, either driving or by bus. So if you live 2 hours away from where you work, your commute is 2 hours. And of course, if we're talking about specific things that people do when they work from home, it's always going to be different depending on what you do and what field you work in. but you know, you can say something like, I work on the computer, like just as an action. To work on a computer. Do you work using a computer? Sign documents. Prepare a report. You know, whatever it is that your job description tells you to do, that's what you're gonna be doing. Whenever I'm here working and, you know, people ask me about it and I don't want to be too specific and give out too much information, I would just give very general answers like, I have some work to do, or, you know, I need to do some work, which means I need to sit down and focus on my work without giving out too many details. And well, this is it. Home office English. Well, it was a little more than just home office, but I'm sure it'll be very useful. Of course, there are many things that people do for work, like specific tasks, and they're all gonna vary depending on the field and the profession and that kind of stuff. So I need your help completing this lesson. Let's teach each other. So down below in the comments, please write if you're working remotely right now, or if you're actually working at an actual location. Let us know, what are some tasks that you are required to do? And we can all learn different expressions that apply to different jobs and professions and fields. I gave you mine, now you give me yours. And as usual, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to never miss a new video, a new opportunity to learn something. And of course, don't forget to check out the course that I told you about, Intermediate to Advanced, if you feel stuck, if you need help, if you need guidance, if you need motivation. The link is down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.